is just getting the response from people, especially women around my age who still have dreams and aspirations, and I hope that they continue to follow.
Lindsey Vonn is yet another proof that age is just a number. She has already established her dominance in the sport, and she has since come back to prove she has more to give.
And to be going at, I would be going at 41 years old, you know, that's never been done in ski racing for a woman. And I hope that
she is determined to win, but also
there's others to follow their dreams as well. I mean, I think that that's been one of the...
With the 2026 Winter Olympics only a year and a few months away, Lindsey has her laser focus on competing at one of her few places to compete in, Cortina.
A second favorite course in the entire world. It's where I really figured out how to be competitive in speed events. I had my first podium there.
If it wasn't obvious
that the Olympics are in Cortina.
As a matter of fact,
would I come back if it wasn't Cortina? Because Cortina is like a home race for me. You know, it would be really special if I...
She may know the place like the back of her hand, but it doesn't mean that the road going to Milano Cortina 2026 will be void of humps and bumps. Of course, being a legend in the sport, she could navigate the roadblocks perhaps better than anyone else. After all, Vonn holds numerous records, including the most World Cup victories by any skier, male or female, in both the downhill and the Super G events. With 82 World Cup wins, she ranks just behind American Michaela Schifrin and Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark. Vonn and Schifrin are part of an elite club of female skiers who have won World Cup events in all 5 disciplines: downhill, Super G, giant slalom, slalom, and combined. And as many of you are aware, it has been 6 years since one of the most decorated skiers in the world, Lindsey Vonn, stepped away from competitive skiing due to a series of injuries to her left leg in 2018. While her injuries following a crash during a training session were substantial, they weren't the only reason she had to step away from the sport she loves. Sadly, but not unsurprisingly, Vonn had long battled knee injuries and undergone at least 9 surgeries throughout her career. Her retirement came as a surprise, so when she announced her plans to return to skiing in November 2024 after undergoing total knee replacement surgery, fans were more than delighted. Getting back to skiing without pain has been an incredible journey, Vonn said last year in a release from the US Ski and Snowboard. I am looking forward to being back with the Stifle US ski team and to continuing to share my knowledge of the sport with these incredible women. However, news of her comeback had not been as widely accepted as one would expect. When Tom Brady played in the NFL well beyond the age of 40, he wasn't considered crazy for facing 300-pound defensive linemen intent on sacking him. When Lewis Hamilton got behind the wheel of a Ferrari Formula One car for the first time at 40, he wasn't told he was too old for the elite auto racing series. Marcel Hirscher didn't get nearly as many pointed questions when he recently returned to ski racing after 5 seasons away. Sadly, when Lindsey Vonn did, people second-guessed her comeback at age 40 after spending the same time away from the sport as Hirscher. While Hirscher's comeback was welcomed with no issue, before Vonn returned in December, 2-time Olympic champion Michaela Dorfmeister suggested that the American should see a psychologist, adding on Austrian TV, "Does she want to kill herself?" Austrian downhill great Franz Klammer said, "She's gone completely mad." And 4-time overall World Cup champion Permin Zurbriggen said that Vonn hasn't recognized the meaning and purpose of her other life in recent years. "I don't think I really deserve the disrespectful comments to the degree that they were given," Vonn expressed. "There were a lot of questions that had to do with me as a person, my psychological state, and what life is outside of skiing. That was completely inappropriate and disrespectful, and I didn't deserve it," Vonn added. Really, it's not only hurtful, but also hateful. What's truly remarkable, though, is how Lindsey handled the hate and the doubts. As if to clap back at her doubters, Lindsey Vonn made history as she became the oldest woman to make it to the podium at an Alpine World Cup, proving once again that second acts are the new retirement. The athlete, who is all of 40, took home the silver medal at the Super-G race at the Audi FIS Ski World Cup Finals in Idaho in late March. The comeback has been 2,565 days in the making, and that's exactly how long it's been since she last medaled at an equivalent event. With the win, the 40-year-old Olympian broke the record as the oldest woman to have a podium finish at a World Cup. The event also marked Vonn's first podium since coming out of retirement for the competition in January, finishing 1.29 seconds in second place behind first-place winner, Swiss Lara Gut-Behrame. It doesn't come as a surprise that Lindsey Vonn's return to the podium, 6 years since stepping away from ski racing, 11 months since her partial knee replacement, and 4 months since announcing her return, hit her hard in the finish area. Struggling to catch her breath, but still managing the energy to raise her ski poles in celebration, the tears fell. They were for joy and relief that she could even make it back to the World Cup circuit. They were for the satisfaction of proving all her doubters wrong. They were, she explained, for showing, "This adventure that I set myself on is worth something." It was hard, Vonn confided. "This is not easy what I'm doing. It just felt really good to say I did it, that I can still do it." Vonn found her vintage form while flying down the twisting and steep Challenger course at the World Cup Finals. The 82-time World Cup winner, along with 3-time Olympic medalist, glanced at the scoreboard and soaked in the roar of the large crowd. It's a moment she will cherish. "Age is just a number," Vonn said. "If you feel good and you're mentally still driven and you work hard, you can achieve anything you set your mind to." She was motivated by the doubters too, those who criticized her making a return. "Sometimes the negative voices, they drive me more than the positive ones," Vonn said. "I use all that as fuel. It propelled me through some tough times this year. I knew that I could do it." An emotional Lindsey Vonn declared, "I belong on the podium." That she does, there's no question about it. "It's been a rough season of people saying that I can't, that I'm too old, that I'm not good enough anymore. I think I proved everyone wrong," she further stated. "I will definitely be the oldest, but also the most experienced on that track," Vonn said about her hopes of skiing next year at Cortina d'Ampezzo in an interview shortly after her emotional victory. It goes without saying that she's closer than ever to her goal of competing in the 2026 Winter Games in Milan Cortina, Italy. While the Team USA skiers won't be named until next winter, many expect to see Vonn on the slopes at what would be her 5th Olympics. It's almost common knowledge at this point that no one works harder than Lindsey Vonn, especially when it comes to training casually. She is now putting her primary spring focus on training and hitting the slopes as fast as she can following her success at the 2025 FIS Ski World Cup. Vonn shared her latest training stint in a recent post on her Instagram channel. In the video, Vonn can be seen starting at the top of a mountain as she springs herself off, and picking up a good amount of speed doing it. As skillful as her approach was, she let her know that she was doing all of this training in a sweater vest, which she is quite proud of. Will this athlete have a successful season so far, like Vonn? Watch this and be the judge.